the game of chess. A game that pretty much everyone has heard of in some capacity. Many people have even tried playing it, but very few have actually mastered it. A game whose rules are pretty straightforward. Each piece has set ways in which they can move, and the difficulty comes in predicting your opponent's moves, seeing the entire board and seeing how the board state can change many moves ahead. And that is all due to each of the pieces being able to move in set ways. But what if that rule was kind of thrown out the window? What if it was introduced that your own charisma, your willpower, and your ability to lead actually played a factor on whether your pieces could move or not? Essentially, making chess like a D&D campaign. If your stats are really good, really high, you have high intelligence, high charisma, and things of that nature, your pieces will move more to your liking, will be able to move better, move farther even, outside of the normal bounds of chess. That is the game of real war chess. The game played between Sora and Shiro versus Kurumi Zell. The fight for the throne of Elkia, the right to rule over Immanity. This game is probably one of the largest risks that Sora and Shiro took. They were in a foreign world, and immediately, a couple days after getting there, they challenged someone who was being supported by a superior magical race. They have no idea how to fight magic. They just tried to make it so Kurumi couldn't cheat openly and tried to play the game as it was, without knowing the full scope of the rules. And this is where one of the key themes for No Game No Life comes into play. Information is everything. Sora and Shiro don't know the rules. Kurumi only knows part of the rules, but doesn't know the full scope of them. All that Kurumi knows is it's just like normal chess, except you can order your pieces to move in abnormal ways, as her first move was telling one of her pawns to just move forward. And thanks to the elven magic implanted into the pieces that give her higher willpower, higher charisma, the piece is able to move 3 spaces forward. Now, even for a chess master like Shiro, she's able to play around this, even get Kurumi in check just abiding by the normal rules of chess. Until it becomes apparent that Shiro does not have the willpower and charisma to be a good leader, at least not on her own. As she's ordering her pieces to move, they stopped moving. Because what soldier would willingly sacrifice themselves on the battlefield unless they have the utmost respect and reverence for their leader? Sora realizes this. While Shiro was playing this game, Sora was staying back and watching. And he starts to understand the rules very quickly. Being the professional gamers that both of them are, they gain an understanding of how games work and the overall rules of the game more quickly than anyone else, even faster than Kurumi. Even Feel didn't know how this game would turn out, or how it would actually work, the scope of the rites that she wove, the magic that she cast on these chess pieces. She thought that, Kurumi would just be able to outmaneuver her opponent. When chess pieces can move in ways that are unpredictable, well, no matter how much chess experience you have, it becomes much less effective when you can't accurately predict the moves your opponent would make, anticipate their moves, and move accordingly. Well, that's not really possible. Even though Shiro has been able to take down multiple computer programs that have been designed to take out grandmasters, she can't actually win against Kurumi unless she can use the strategies she's used to. And this is where Sora comes in. With his quick grasp of the rules, he understands that willpower is everything. And in fact, that is the only thing. All other rules of chess had been completely overwritten by the rules that Kurumi put in place, something that she herself did not even realize. And so Sora can just start ordering his pieces to move and start just essentially turning this into a game of civilization. Is that a correct analogy? I'm not really too familiar with those types of games where you're having your armies clash against opposing armies. I think Civilization is a fair comparison. Let me know down in the comments below, or other comparisons that you think might be more fitting. But with this knowledge, Sora just starts ordering his pieces to move around the board, disregarding the turn order entirely, and just taking out Kurumi's pieces. And he gets a little bit too overconfident, as Kurumi has another trick up her sleeve. Not only does the magic cast on the pieces increase her own charisma and ability to control her pieces, it is so strong that it can start infecting other pieces. In the anime, Sora kind of says, oh, she has another trick up her sleeve, but it's kind of the same trick, it's just her willpower is strong enough to start affecting opposing pieces as well. It was a risk even entering this game in the first place, with unknown rules, but it was necessary, otherwise, well, Elkia would fall. So the risk was taken, and the risk is only increasing at this point. Regardless of Sora's amazing grasp of the rules, even faster than his opponent, who set the rules herself, now he's pushed into a corner again because he didn't realize the scope of the cheats that she was using. How exactly do you fight against brainwashing? Well, you start sweet-talking a chess piece, as Sora put it. He beseeches the opposing queen, as the queen is sent to the front lines, and he is able to turn Kurumi's queen to his own side. The ultimate victory is only won because of Kurumi's own mistakes. Sora is a master manipulator. This is why Sora and Shiro work so well together. Both of them are logical in their own ways. Shiro, with her sheer ability to analyze information and come to the most logical conclusion, doing the calculations, able to see every possible board state on a chessboard, and Sora with his ability to be able to read people and find the most logical way to piss them off. He does that to Kurumi and causes her to make mistakes, ordering her own knight to attack the queen that was once hers. Sora, having a better understanding of, well, people's will and personalities, even though he has less than zero understanding of his own and people's feelings towards himself, he is able to read the situation, causes a rebellion in Kurumi's side, and introduces a third faction, the red faction. You know, there's white chess pieces, the black chess pieces, and now the red chess pieces. All of them fighting together against Kurumi. And ultimately, Sora drives Kurumi to the point of breaking, and then her own piece ends up shattering because none of her pieces want to follow her orders anymore. The Mad King falls. This game, as I've stated a couple times already, is one of the largest risks that blank Sora and Shiro ever undertook. The game that they entered with the least amount of information on what they were facing. They knew they were going up against elven magic, but had no way to detect it, no way to know what exact magic was being used, and no way to detect how many different kinds of magic were being used. Because there was the magic to increase Kurumi's ability to order around her pieces, but they weren't able to anticipate that that magic would push further even over to their own pieces, and Kurumi would be able to brainwash their pieces. So with this kind of risk that they undertook, there were more times in this overall game. We see it in the anime where Sora is panicking, where Shiro almost gives in to despair. That rarely happens in future games. The more information that Sora and Shiro are able to gather, the more confident they are within the games. There are times when they're put into tough spots, things happen that are unexpected, but they're able to handle it much better, not only because they have more information, but because they actually have more allies. At this point, it's just Sora, Shiro, and Steph. And Steph doesn't entirely have faith in them just yet. As far as she knows, they are just strange people who say they came from another world. Not that they were literally chosen by God and were able to combat magic. She's still questioning that at this point, so it's pretty much Sora and Shiro versus the world. But after this, Steph truly believes in them. They're able to gather more allies in Jabril, in the War Beasts, etc., and through that, each game becomes more manageable. The scale constantly increases, and my god, some of the games that come later on are fantastic in the ways that they are set up, but this game truly highlights the desperation that Immanity was in. Sora and Shiro are desperate in this game. They've made more mistakes here than almost any other game later on. There are some pretty heavy mistakes made later on, don't get me wrong, but this game in particular is one of the most crucial in all of No Game No Life, in my opinion, given how important it is to have information on the game you are playing. The lack of information that Kurumi had led to Sora and Shiro's victory. The ability that they had to absorb information, understand it, and be able to apply it was and is one of their greatest assets. not just their gaming ability, but their ability to gather information. That is put on full display in further episodes of the anime and throughout Volume 2 of the light novel, but this game highlights that so well, and ultimately the risk that they undertook by taking this game on in the first place. And, as I mentioned before, Sora's superior physical abilities by being able to get from the balcony up top to in front of the chess piece. Or if you read the light novel, he was just sitting around a regular-sized chessboard and, sweet-talking the queen from just, essentially this distance away that I'm talking from the camera. So, depending on which side you consider canon, things may have played out just a little bit differently in that aspect. But in general, the course of the game and the events that take place stay consistent between the light novel and the anime. Regardless, this was a very impactful game. The first major game in No Game, No Life. The one that sets kind of the beginning scale of the games that will come in the future. And quite possibly even hints at the final game to be played in the entire series. But I'll leave that for another video. In the meantime, let me know your thoughts on Real War Chess down in the comments below. What your favorite part of the game was, and what you think it would also be like if they designed a essentially D&D style chess, where they kept, a lot of the more strict rules of chess, that each player rotates in who moves first. The white pieces make a move, the black pieces make a move, and it keeps going back and forth, rather than, just being able to scramble all of your pieces and do whatever you want. If they kept those strict rules in place and added kind of the D&D stats, like certain pieces had strength, certain pieces had defense, things of that nature, and your charisma, your willpower, determined how your pieces moved, and you could only, allocate your stat points beforehand, I think that might make for an interesting game. One that maybe exists in some capacity, not that I've heard of at least. If you have, let me know down in the comments below as well. But with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you want to see more game analyses from No Game No Life and just No Game No Life analysis in general, make sure to subscribe. And if you want to see some games played live, make sure to check out the Twitch channel as well. I stream every Tuesday and Saturday. So I look forward to seeing you all there or in the next video. Ashante.